And joining us now is Ed Rollins, Republican strategist and former campaign manager for Michelle Bachmann, and Democratic strategist and Democratic National Committee member Robert Zimmerman. Good morning to you both, gentlemen. And let's start right off with that poll that really got everybody talking this week that showed Herman Cain for the first time leading the pack by a not insignificant margin, 27% to Romney's 23%. Ed, I bet you did not see that coming.
I did not see it coming, although he's done a very effective job in the debates, and his 999 plan has sort of captured a lot of people's imagination until they start picking it apart. The bottom line here is I think he has what's left of the Tea Party. It's kind of bounced back and forth to Perry, to Bachmann, to others. I think he now has it.
But you know, Ed, it's an interesting point you bring up, because ultimately, when you examine the Herman Cain surge, ultimately, it's a campaign running on political Viagra. And by that I mean his rise, just to kill the metaphor, is as temporary and artificial as the Donald Trump rise, the Michelle Bachmann rise, and the Rick Perry rise.
But how do you know? He's obviously capturing people's attention. Right. He has very little money, and yet he's still managed to surge in name recognition.
He will have money now. I mean, the bottom line is you have two campaigns that have organization, Perry and Romney. They're the ones that have the potential to go the long way. But that doesn't mean Herman Cain can't stay in the race and basically attract voters as you go down the road here. He's not going to win Iowa. He's not going to win New Hampshire. He's not going to win these early things. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he's not going to win the nomination. But he certainly is creating some interest.
Let's talk about Rick Perry. You mentioned him. This was supposed to be the week that he reset his campaign. But the new Rick Perry in the debate looked a lot like the old Rick Perry in the debate. And people are starting to wonder, does he really want it?
Debates are not his form. You have to remember he was a cheerleader in college, not a debater. I think the bottom line is...
Yeah, but they asked him what his economic plan was, and he said, I won't tell you.
Well, he's trying to tell it now. He's a good retail politician, and don't underestimate. He'll be, when he gets in the game here in Iowa and New Hampshire and other places, he'll be a strong candidate.
You know, it's important to remember he's raised $17 million, but that follows a long line of great Texas politicians like John Connolly. When he ran for the nomination, he was the top fundraiser. So was Phil Gramm. Each got like a delegate and a half between them. He's not a serious candidate.
Very notable,
he is a serious candidate. It's my party. He's the conservative in this race, and he will be a very serious candidate. He may not win it, but he certainly will be right there chasing Romney all the way.
It wasn't Perry or Cain that the White House was going after this week, though. It was Romney. Clearly, they think that Romney is the candidate to beat, and David Axelrod called him a hypocrite, a political cyborg, an ideological shapeshifter. Bob, why are they going after him so early?
Obviously, they see him as the front runner. They see him as the most difficult potential adversary. And I'm not sure, very frankly, tactically, it's that wise this early. Right now, the president has been able to galvanize public attention around the American Jobs Act. It's polling well. It's polling substantially in almost every national poll. And that's where I think the White House and their messaging has got to focus.
And very quickly, what do you make of this whole thing about President Obama calling himself the underdog? I mean,
he can call himself whatever he wants to be. He's the president of the United States. He's going to have $1 billion. He's the guy to beat.
You know, it's interesting. You've got David Axelrod saying it's a titanic struggle. The president says he's an underdog. The vice president says they could lose. It's starting to sound like a Lifetime movie of the week. The president's better off focusing on leadership and a bold vision. That'll energize the Democratic base.
That would be a movie of the week if you tried to do that.
Hard to call yourself the underdog when you've got the bully pulpit of the
presidency,
presidency,
the president of the United States, and just need to act like a president.
That's
right. Well, Ed Rollins and Robert Zimmerman, thank you both so much for coming on this morning. Really appreciate it.